In this video, I'll be talking about matching short question from BMAT Section 1 exam. I'll be splitting this video into two parts. The first part, let's talk about what do I mean by matching short, so you know right away whether or not this is the right video for you. After that, let's talk about tools and technique we use to analyze this kind of question. And of course, I'll have an example from real BMAT exam as well. So, let's get started. First, what are matching chart and data question? For this kind of BMAT question, you're often given data. So in this case, we have Nadine spending in each category. And then you'll be asked if you take that data and plot it in a chart, a bar chart or a pie chart, which one of the choice is the correct representation of the data. So this is what we mean by matching chart and data question. So, what are the tools and techniques we use to analyze this question? Of course, you can say that for this kind of question, you can take a piece of paper and then plot or draw an actual pie graph and try to match what you have with the answer choice. That will actually take a lot of time. And for BMAT, that is not okay, since for each BMAT question, you need to try to finish it in under a minute and 30 seconds, or perhaps 2 minutes. So, the technique I'll be giving you will be a technique we use to speed up the process, to help you select the correct choice in the least amount of time. So, what are the techniques we used? First, the first technique, large portion. What do I mean by large portion? Well, if you take a look at the data, you see that the two largest portions are rent and food. So we'll start here. We'll start from these and try to rule out the incorrect answer choice. So you see that rent and food, they are the largest, and they are of the same amount as well. So in the answer choice, we'll be looking at a pie chart with two largest sectors with the same size. For example, A, these are the two largest. They are approximately the same, so we keep it. B, well, it's hard to see, but I would say these two are the largest. Same size, keep it. For C, this is the largest. This is the second largest. Not the same size, we eliminate it. D as well. So, looking at large portions, in this case the largest and the second largest, which is the same, we can rule out C and D. And the reason why we pay attention to large portion is that if you instead look at small portion, for example, education, travel and sport, it will be really difficult to tell the difference between 6, 5, and 4. Okay? That's why we often say small portions, they are not useful, because you cannot eyeball it and say, oh, this makes sense, this does not. Okay, so technique number 1, start from large portion. Technique number 2, distinct feature. What do I mean by distinct feature? Those are the features you can easily see. For example, if you have one of the category being exactly 1/2, you can spot like 1/2 easily from a pie chart, or perhaps 1/3. Or if something has an equal portion. In this case, we already use it. When we say rent and food, the two largest, they need to be the same size. Okay, that's technique number 2. Then technique number 3, relative. Relative size, relative order. So what does that mean? Well, for example, if you look at clothing, clothes, you spend 45 on it. But if you look at the answer choice, you won't be able to say whether or not this portion is 45 or this portion is not, right? It's too difficult for the eyes. Well, you can work around it. You can work around this by looking at relative size. For example, you look at 45 and you compare to 60. You compare clothing to food. That is actually larger than 1/2. It's about 3/4. 45 is about 3/4 of 60. And then you look at the choice. This must be clothing. They are the third largest. For A, clothing here is less than 1/2 of food. Okay, it's less than 1/2. You can tell by the eye. And you said, oh, that makes no sense. That's why we can rule out A based on incorrect relative size. And since we already eliminate C and D, now we eliminate A, we end up with B. Okay, we end up with B. So these are the demonstration of the three techniques. First, pay attention to large portion. They are easily to see. Then try to look at your data, look for a distinct feature, 1/2, 1/3, or something of equal portion. And finally, look at relative order or relative size. With those three techniques, let's apply it to the actual BMAT question. So I have question 3 from 2007 exam. Okay. You can pause here and read the question, or if you want, you can go to official BMAT site and download the exam question as well. So I encourage you to attempt this question on your own using the three techniques we talked about earlier. Alright, let's read the question together. The table below shows the annual sale of the 5 sales representatives of a carpet company for 2 years. This shows a substantial rise in sales in the second of the 2 years. Now, the question is as followed. Which of the following pie charts represent the percentage contribution of each of the representatives to the increase in sale? So basically, if you look at the data, they give us the name of the representative and the sale in the 2 year. For this question, they don't care about 2005 or 2006. They care about the increase. And they ask you to take the increase in sale and plot in a pie chart. So, we'll break it down in 2 steps. The first step, we need to calculate the increase first. Once we get the increase, we try to match that to a pie chart using the 3 techniques we talked about earlier. So I'll first calculate the increase. Okay, so the increase here, this number minus this number, we get 60. Okay, so instead of writing 60 and then 30, I write 60K because the K is 1,000 anyway, and that saves time when you do your working out for BMAT. Okay, so 40K, 50K, this is 100K, this is as well 50K, and 300K for the total increase. Okay, so step 1, we calculate the increase. Step 2 will be taking those increase and try to match it with the graph, the pie chart we have. First of all, the largest portion. Okay, here 100K Darwin, it is the largest. And if you look at Darwin, compare it to the total, you can see that 100K and 300K, that is about 1/3. So we are looking for Darwin being the largest one and Darwin being about 1/3 of the entire circle. Well, it is not correct. Although Darwin is the largest, it's not 1/3. B is okay. We keep it. Although it's hard to see whether or not it's 1/3, just keep it. C, it kind of works as well, so we keep it. D, Darwin is here, not the largest. E as well. So now we have B and C left. Next, let's take a look at perhaps distinctive feature that you can see easily. In this case, I'll go with here, 50K and 50K. So Coleridge and Alger, they need to have the same size. Okay, that is a distinct feature we spot. And also, if you compare Coleridge and Darwin, the largest, you see that here 50K is about half of 100K. So basically, Coleridge and Alger, they need to be of the same size, and Coleridge need to be half of Darwin. So Alger, Coleridge, they are not the same size. They are not half of Darwin. So B is not correct. We only have C left, so we go with C. But you can also check your answer. If you look at Coleridge and Alger, yes, same size, and approximately half of Darwin, which makes sense. So, I'll have more practice question for you in the next video.